Hey guys, so in a previous video, I talked about the 5 signs she gives to know that she's pulling away. Today, I'm gonna be talking about the 5 reasons why she's probably pulling away, because I feel like that's important to know. That way you can kind of recognize and see if you're doing any of this, then you're like, oh, it kind of makes sense, and maybe I should maybe stop or reduce that behavior. So how I'm gonna list this out is not about kind of the behavior or what you're doing. It's more about how you make her feel. I'm pretty sure you know women, we're emotional creatures. So that means that our actions, what we decide to do, is because our emotions have driven us to kind of want to do that. So this is more about the 5 feelings you've probably made her feel through a behavior that has caused her to want to pull away. So the first feeling is feeling overwhelmed and pressured. So this is when you send her a response, which she gave you like maybe a couple words response, right? Like one little sentence, and you respond with 4 different texts asking 3 different things, and it just gets overwhelming. And every time she tries to talk to you, you send a bigger text or paragraph, and usually at that point, because of the overwhelming feeling, she usually decides to step back. Feeling pressured is more like you continuously asking for the date, pushing her, and when she tells you, I'll let you know, you don't let it go. Right, so always making sure that you just relax, ask a question, take your time during this, and don't make a girl feel pressured. This also includes if she decides to tell you, she's not ready to date now, and you say, well, when will you be? Or can I be your friend? Or can I be that friend? I hope you don't feel like this is too much for you. And you just kind of start spilling all of this stuff on her, which makes her feel really pressured, and she doesn't want to deal with that anymore, right? Feeling, or reason number 2, is feeling bored. I'm pretty sure this is no surprise to you guys. People leave a conversation when it's not very interesting or they're bored of it. Now, I will go through this in a more in-depth kind of guidelines, whichever, in another video about keeping the conversation. But today, I just want to say, definitely when you're feeling bored, you kind of want to pull away. And so bored is when you can't really find a connection. You're not seeing how you guys really connect. And that doesn't mean you don't have any similar interests. You can have similar interests, but the conversation can still be boring. You could talk about how much you like hiking for only so long, and then what else are you supposed to talk about? So there's no connection there, and it's really lacking that kind of chemistry, and also it's lacking curiosity. Someone who is curious about another person, and if you two are curious about each other, you don't get bored. You continuously want to talk to each other. So that's another feeling. That's probably one of the bigger reasons why women pull away, is because they're just bored and uninterested. Feeling reason number 3 is feeling confused. So feeling confused is when you are asking questions, but it's not quite relevant to what you guys are talking about. You kind of throw in something that just doesn't make sense to her, makes her really confused, or confused in a way where she doesn't know what you want. This means if you're the type of person to continuously text someone, talk to them, but not really ask her out, not tell her how you feel. If this is a friend that you have a crush on and you just continuously keep being there for her, but without saying, I like you, I'm attracted to you, or I want to go out with you, saying things that straightforward, like I want to date you, really helps a lady to, make a decision. But if she feels confused, if you're kind of flaking in and out, or if you're talking about this thing and then another thing, confusion makes anyone really just pull away, right? All right, so the 4th one is feeling unheard. Now, most of you guys are probably listening to this are good listeners, but there's a difference between being a good listener and being an active listener. So when you're hearing her, are you actually hearing what she's trying to say? Not just her words, what she's trying to say about herself, about her journey, maybe about you guys. But the next time you listen to someone, really try to understand her. Understand what is the foundation and the underlying thing she's trying to say, and then build a conversation from there. What I see a lot of times is, seems like conversation is going great, and she'll say one thing, but then all of a sudden you ask about another thing that's not really about that, what she talked about. And the unfortunate thing is sometimes she talks about this topic or gives you an answer that has so much value in it, that has so much more. If you just dived in, you can know more about her, but you decide not to. You decide, if she answers, oh yeah, my family had, a really rough patch at one point, but we were able to overcome it. And then you kind of skip that. You say, oh, that's cool. That's good that you're close to with your family. Right? Instead of diving into, oh, you had a rough patch, like, so how did you overcome it? And really finding out more about her. Right? That's an important one. I feel like a lot of people say they're great listeners, but they're not actually showing the person what they're hearing. They're validating them, and continue a conversation off of actually what they heard, So really reflect on your listening skills and see how you're expressing that with the other person. And last but not least, reason number 5, the feeling you give to her, of course, is any negativity. So this is more for anyone that's out there that really, and I will say for usually the audience that I'm talking to right now, you don't always, you don't fall under this category as much, but could be if you're not aware. So any negative feeling to a woman is when you cross her boundaries, when you're invading her privacy a little bit, when you are rude, when you are inappropriate, when you're just in her face and not giving her space. So any negative feelings, if you also make some judgment or comment about her that makes her feel, well, judged, offended in any way. And I know sometimes you may not mean that, but it's important to really listen to what you are trying to say. And if you are expressing it in the way that hopefully comes across to her in a way that you are, well, whatever you're trying to say to her, but of course, that one, if you're making a lady feel negative in any way, judged in any way, if you're being inappropriate, and this is why if you compliment on looks too much, it's not the best idea, because sometimes if you do that, women don't always want to feel like they're just a pretty face and that's all you can see. So once again, of course, negativity, if she's feeling that negative, you will either see her pull away or she'll just snap at you. So be very careful of that. All right, guys? So those are the 5 probably reasons why she's pulling away. And I must say the top 2 are the ones at least I hear a lot from my clients and guys who randomly message me about what they're doing wrong. And remember, the feelings that you're giving to a girl is what's having her pull away. So once again, listing out again, number 1 is feeling overwhelmed or pressured. Number 2 is boredom. That also means just losing interest, no connection there. Number 3 is the feeling of being confused. Number 4 is feeling unheard. And number 5 is feeling negative. So if you're doing any of those, it's probably time to stop. All right, guys? All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Until next time.